Good morning to all. More legal movement in the Koberger case, and we got our first real glimpse at what the defense's work product or theory will be at trial. Was the knife sheath factually planted by the alternate suspects? Let's get right into it. This should come as no surprise to anyone here. We have talked about this in depth all along. Quote, the defense's expert disclosure revealed that the defense plans to argue that DNA on the sheath does not prove defendant was ever at the crime scene, and sheath itself could have been planted by the real perpetrator. So let's unpack this statement brick by brick. What does this tell us? First, it seemingly confirms what we had long believed, that Mr. Koberger's defense will largely center around an alibi defense and an alternate suspect defense, with the caveat that this is contingent on Judge Hibbler permitting either or both defense strategy at trial. As a natural extension of the alibi defense, as we have discussed, we know that the skin cell transfer DNA on the sheath does not place Brian inside 1122 King on November 13th. Brian could have never touched that sheath and never been inside 1122 King, but his skin cell transfer DNA could still be on that sheath. Important to note, the defense is going to have to really hammer this intel home to that jury at trial. Skin cell transfer DNA is not like blood. It absolutely does not place Brian inside that home that fateful night. It remains one of the biggest misconceptions on this case, and I consistently still see misinformation all over the platforms on precisely this. So again, this concept is going to be really important for the defense to get ingrained into the minds of jurors. It's precisely why they brought attorney and DNA expert Becca Barlow on board. She will do a fantastic job of posturing this at trial. Next up, we know at trial, Brian will have cellular experts in support of his alibi that he was far southwest of Moscow at the time of the homicide. So if his alibi is seemingly proven, the prominent question becomes, how did that sheath get there? It was either transferred or planted. It's only one or the other at that juncture. So now we know it seems the defense will factually employ the planting theory, which again is not a surprise for a number of reasons. First, the defense clearly suggested planting in a June 2023 legal filing. Second, Ann's comment at the recent hearing about how did that sheath get there reinforced this. But the thing that has always screamed planting to me personally was simply the design of the K-bar sheath itself. The defense will clearly explain this design to jurors. Brian would have been wearing that sheath looped through a leather belt. It would have been literally impossible for that sheath to come undone unless there is a massive tear in it. So again, it screams the question, how did that sheath get there?